and welcome to another episode of 4Tims in a Podcast. You join us on Tuesday the 30th of November, so happy St Andrew's Day to everybody that's listening. It's been a week since we've been on, a lot's happened. Celtic's Europa League hopes were dashed in Germany despite a spirited performance. We also then had a hard-fought victory over Aberdeen at Celtic Park, and we've drawn our opponents in the Scottish Cup as well. So we've got all that and more in this episode, plus the chance later on to get a free entry into a competition that gives you the chance to win a signed, framed Henrik Larsson top. So keep a listen out for that and how you can get involved. But Tony, we'll jump right in it. It's been an eventful week. We'll start with the most recent, the Aberdeen game. I know to most people, we'll come on to the European result later, but I know to most people this season all that matters is the league. It was a very hard fought victory for Celtic, but they got there in the end. It was a day that Scott Brown returned. The Celtic Park crowd bid farewell to Betty Old. It was a pretty breezing afternoon, but Celtic got over the line. What did you make of Saturday? Or Sunday even, sorry.
3 points in it, really. It wasn't an exceptional game. I thought we were well in control at all points. I never felt Aberdeen were a massive threat. When they won the penalty, and then they just I've never seen a team time waste so much and roll about so much. It was a bit of a surprise. It probably shouldn't have been. I thought the first goal was excellent. I thought Turnbull into McGregor was great, and then it falls to Jota, whose finish was absolutely superb. He's just been unbelievable for us. He's been the main man, and he's kind of been carrying us for quite a long period of time now. So I'm happy with that. I thought we were good in terms of the second half. We came out and we managed to find a way to win. Don't get me wrong, it was lucky, but I thought McCarthy's pass and the build to the goal was excellent. He got extremely lucky, but I need to give credit to McGregor. He's thrown his cell in the middle of the goal in order to, in the middle of the clearance to stop the ball going up the park, and obviously it's hit his arse and went in, and he's went wild. He showed a lot of passion, which is kind of bare minimum for me. I'm not going to get too much into it, but no, it was a great result to get. I mean, there was pressure on. We went into the game 7 points behind. We need to keep winning games, because for now, until I think we play Rangers, they'll probably be playing before us, and it's just a pressure you need to deal with again if you want to challenge for the title. So overall happy. You can't really complain. It was a bit nervy towards the end, but they didn't really play any real football, if we're being honest. They're not a good team, but I can't really have too many complaints. I think the most controversial part of the game was the singing of Ange Postecoglou to the tune of Papa Francesco. I think one of you uploaded it to your Twitter, and I had a look at some of the quote tweets. Some people are not happy that Papa Francesco was replaced, but no, for me, as long as we win, I don't give a fuck what they sing.
Considering the fans are rioting outside the stadium a year ago, if that's all the fans are arguing about, then I think we're in a quite good place, Tony.
Celtic have went so far away from their roots if we're replacing songs about El Papa with this Aussie.
I know. It was me that posted a video of this in 109 and posted it, no
Last
condemning it or praising it.
Jesus got hung for this.
Right, Danny, how come to you? Well, as Tony said, it was a hard-fought victory, but at the end of the day, it was 3 points. That was all that mattered, and it's becoming quite handy, this and Postecoglou Celtic being able to dig results out into it.
We've stopped, I was thinking about us watching the game, we've stopped being 2-3 up straight away, and we've learned to grind wins out. I thought Tony's absolutely spot on with what he says. It's all about 3 points, and I know some of us were thinking Rangers would maybe drop points on Sunday at Livingston, but they won pretty comfortably, and all the pressure goes on to Celtic. They get 3 points for that game when they got a penalty for absolutely fuck all, and their players seem to be able to run about injuring Celtic players willy-nilly, getting away with it. To just get 3 points and go out the road is good. It was a long, it's not a long trip back to Germany. It's hardly a long haul, but it's still having to come back, and then the players were straight away to Bertio's funeral on Friday. So to get 3 points after the week that they've had is a big plus. And like Tony, basically just repeat what Tony said, I thought we were complete control from start to finish. Thought the first goal was a great goal. Thought McCarthy's pass for the second goal was brilliant. He really deserved a bad. I just to think that out of the keeper. Thought McCarthy had a good game. Probably the first time we could say that. But I thought he played really well. Good to see him get 90 minutes. Carter Vickers, I thought it's a good game as well. He seems to always play well. But it was a good 3 points, and sets us up for what's going to be an absolutely monumental December.
Aye, as Danny said, we've got a massive month ahead of us. Andy, what did you make of Saturday? As Danny mentioned again, it was straight back from Germany to Bertiold's funeral and then playing about less than 48 hours after that at It really was a sort of just get the job done. I know I'm going to be controversial here, Andy. I know that likes of Turnbull and McCarthy are getting a bit of praise there. Like, their passes for both goals, and I know this is all it matters, and I'm about to contradict myself when I say the wins all it matters. I thought the two of them I thought we had absolutely no pace in the midfield, and they two just sort of slowed the game down. I know you're not a massive fan of James McCarthy. What did you make of the Celtic midfield on Sunday?
I mean, first of all, I've got to agree with the boys in the sense that the most important thing is getting the points in the bag, and I thought we were in control. They didn't really have an interest in trying to play too much, if at all. I've already said for a few times this season as to why I think teams are now less inclined to have a go at us than they maybe were last season or even the season before, to be honest with you. Teams are sitting in even more than they ever used to. They used to try and counter-attack, but I think teams are very, very wary of being caught open at any stage with us because of the front line and how pacey they are. It's just, although we'll dominate a lot of games, like if you give us a chance to break in a counter, we will. And in transition, we're very good at doing that. So I think a lot of teams are aware of it. But you on the midfield too, like, listen, other than that one James McCarthy pass, which is all I seem to have heard about, I'm like, but what about the rest of his game? No, listen, I say it a million times. I hope every Celtic player turns their fortunes round, looks brilliant and never looks back. And I'm proven wrong, but just far miles off it in terms of being a Celtic player for me, McCarthy. Constantly, just the biggest issue I have with him is when we're in possession at the ball, either at the back or even in the middle of the park, he doesn't want the ball. He doesn't go looking into spaces, asking for it, offering for options. He's always constantly just hiding behind opposition players. No, whether it's due to laziness or whether it's just lack of confidence, I couldn't really tell you, but it's so infuriating to watch, particularly when, obviously, because of an injury here and there, and then Beaton and how obviously the teams sort of try to come through, but we're needing to rotate, and that's why McCarthy's getting into the team, even Rogic. Like, it's so frustrating where McGregor would have been the deepest midfielder before, and that's what he does. He is so eager to go in the ball and make things happen, to make things tick. If any of the back line have got the ball, he's right into a space asking for it, or he's pulling somebody away to make space for somebody else. And then again, he's got recovery pace. McCarthy he doesn't really bring anything to the team, and I really would, and I'm not a massive Beaton lover myself, but he's done really well as of late when he has played. So for me, it's Beaton over the real football terrorist James McCarthy every day of the week. And Turnbull's just, I don't know, Turnbull's just not came on at all like for last season, and there's still hope for them, but his big thing's meant to be deliveries and he's right fit and all the rest of it, but we're no really threatening as much for these situations as we should, and a lot of that's on to him. I'm not sure what it is about Turnbull what's really dropped off. I don't know if it's what he's been asked today. He's just not fully comfortable with, but I thought it even when there was a question came up quite a lot about Rogic and Turnbull, and maybe we couldn't play both of them. And I think once we get to the January window, obviously there's been talk of signings and things trying to get agreed early, which I know that we will come on to. I think if we go into January, we're going to sign a midfielder to sort of play that position alongside McGregor. And I think the manager, when Turnbull and Rogic are both fully fit, is going to go for Rogic. He's just, listen, neither of them are the most athletic players in the world, but Rogic is offering so much more when he's fit this season. It's Turnbull for me, just he's so one-footed at times it really beggars belief. And he's, as I said, the big thing about him was deliveries, and at the minute he's really lacking in that department. And it's frustrating to watch because you know what he was like when obviously we first signed him, what he was like at Motherwell, and you felt as if he's not pushed on for that. But hopefully it's just a wee dip, and that improves again and he picks up, because I think the boys get bags and bags of ability, and if he listens to the coaching staff, he will improve and he will get better. And ideally that's what happens. But it was, as the boys have said, it was a game that, listen, they get that fucking disgrace of a penalty, but other than that, I can't really think of much threat that I felt during the game. I wasn't really worried about it, and much like, even when they scored that, I was still fairly confident he was going and getting a goal. And I know it's alright saying that now, and the game only finished 2-1. It's fucking came off McGregor's arse, but I don't know. It just felt like one of the games as it sort of time went on, we maybe didn't have to push all the way to the end. Obviously, we had the ball and the corner flag towards the end, and there was a really, really good chance for Kyogo that he probably would have scored in our week, but I felt as if it wasn't McGregor scoring, I think somebody else would have just had that feel about it. And as I said, they just didn't have any interest in playing football.
Aye, it was one of, despite it only being a 1-goal victory, I thought that it was one of the worst Aberdeen performances I've seen at Celtic Park in a long time. I thought, as was mentioned, that they got the penalty out of nothing. Even when they got the penalty, the boys gone away from goal. And then, the first 10-15 minutes of the second half, I've never seen anything like it. Every time Celtic put a cross in the box, they had somebody on the deck for literally must have been 90 seconds to 2 minutes every time. It was insane. And as one of you mentioned earlier, even you've seen the first 10 minutes, Christian Ramirez goes in and does Joe Hart, and it looked like he was going to come off. I know Scott Bain was getting stripped and ready, but thankfully Joe Hart was able to return. And then Lewis Ferguson got away with 2 in the first 10 minutes as well, and you're thinking, wait a fucking second, it seems to be the same thing. I'm not want to focus too much on this, but all it did was aid Aberdeen, because it gave them free rein to just go about kicking Celtic. And look, we got the victory, that's what matters. But I completely agree. I thought Aberdeen were in absolute shambles. Tony, one thing I wanted to bring up to you about that is sort of a tale of two wingers at the moment. It's Jota's in massively hot form. I thought the first half an hour on Sunday he'd the beating of the right back as much as he wanted, and obviously Celtic's first goal came down there. But what are you making of Leo Labada at the moment? He seems to be right off the boil for me, and I think it's quite good that we've got the likes of James Forrest coming back, because it's unfortunate, because when Labada came in, he just hit the ground running, and I don't know what it is. It just seems to be the last few weeks he seems to be failing to rediscover that. I know he's still young, but I just think it's a tale of two wingers at the moment.
He's miles off it. Not really producing anywhere near the figures he did at the start. I think there was some concerns about his appointment, his what do you call them, his performances a while ago, but he's just no. But he was getting the goals and assists. Now he's not really contributing. Again, as you said, he's young. He obviously came in, he started excellently, and that's maybe done him no favours because the expectations are high. But maybe a case where all he needs is a goal or another assist or just something to click and he'll hit form again. But as you say, it's good to have Forrest as an option, and also I've seen Dembele's back in training as well, who's somebody that I still have a lot of hope for at Celtic. I still want to see him getting game time. I think he can be a major asset for the club, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But no, Jota's in excellent form. I think every week he scores or assists, and it's all about signing him up. But whether they'll do that in January or whether they'll hold to the end of the season remains to be seen. I suppose it depends how much what funds they plan on spending in January. There's been a few rumours regarding players in the J League this week that apparently were close to signing, so I can see them maybe holding out to the end of the season. But I think with the performances, including the performance in Germany, I just can't see any way they don't sign them, even if they sign them at 10 o'clock on the Friday and sell them 2 hours later for double the money. I think they'll sign them regardless.
Aye, and you mentioned Germany, so let's come on it. Danny, I don't know if we were just always emotionally drained from that game on Thursday, but we didn't manage to get on and record. It was quite the game on Thursday. It was Celtic were behind pretty early. It was another goal from a set piece, but then just before half time they get the penalty. Juranovic Panenka comes on and just kissing the crossbar on the way in, and then Celtic go ahead, and with 10-15 minutes to go, it looked like we were on course for a magnificent victory, but Leverkusen are top side and just kept coming at Celtic and eventually did grind us down. What did you make of the Europa League game? Obviously, it's the way Ange's team were always going to go down. They were always going to go down swinging.
Yeah, I didn't. I feel a wee bit odd about the Leverkusen game. I think it's another step forward and where Ange wants to take us, but I didn't think we were as good as people made out. I thought we kind of hung on in there. I thought from about the 20th minute till about the 65th, we were really good at times when we got the ball, and I keep feeling that we'll score every time we got the park, but I don't know. I thought first half, like McGregor struggled, I thought Beaton struggled, but then for half time till Beaton went off, I thought it was absolutely immense. I thought Carter Vickers and Welsh struggled at the start of each half, but grew into the half as it went on. And Embiid, I was watching it thinking, I don't think we've been great, but we might just sneak and win this. And then we get really unlucky because right about a minute before Leverkusen's goal, the ball got played through the middle and the boy was offside and Hart made a great save. They went out for a corner. Now, they should have gave offside. If he'd have scored, it would have been offside. They take the corner and then their player headers it out and they get another corner and then eventually they score for that. And then as soon as they get a second, you knew the third was coming. Because we don't deal with adversity well enough yet. But, I mean, do you know what? I think the performances in this group, especially away to Betis against Ferencváros, I thought we played quite well against Leverkusen at Parkhead. I know we got humped for nothing, and you need to face it that's the fact. But I think we created a lot more at Parkhead than we did in Germany.
Danny, I was completely agree. I've seen so many people on Thursday night saying, "Oh, you can see the progress we've made since that Parkhead game." And I was sitting there thinking, I thought we actually played pretty well. And I think you said it in our group chat last week. The only difference was that we actually took two of our chances this time, and that Hideki wasn't world class again.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I think that people just get caught up in the score because we were winning them. Listen, the goals that we scored, I mean, the penalties unbelievable. The composure for Juranovic to try that. And it's funny because he's went against Betis, he went to the keeper's right, and then against St Johnstone, he went to the keeper's left, and I thought he was hitting it down the middle. But will he chip it? And but it was unbelievable. Jota's goal is world class. The finish, the build up play and the finish. But Jota's so clever because he hits it as soon as he can. You know, he doesn't give Hideki time to like set himself. He hits it. Hideki's probably thinking, no, he'll take a touch. But Jota hits it as quickly as he can. Keeper's completely caught out, beat him. But I just felt we were waiting to get beaten Thursday night. It was almost as if Joe Hart was having a great game, and then, but I mean, even the second goal, I know I've said they should have won it, but just Ralston. I thought Ralston did a really poor game. But he's just panicked and booted the ball the way he was facing, and then the third goal, it's a great finish for the boy, but there's like 7 Celtic players in the box, and he's still able to pick a guy out at the edge of the area. It's quite disappointing, but I do think it was a step forward. We do look a lot more mature than we did it. We're getting better. I do think we're getting better by the week as a team, but I just gutted. I think the performances in the group have merited a shootout against Betis at Parkhead, but it's not to be.
Aye, as you say, it's not to be. It might even be a chance for us to rest some players. Tony, it was, as Danny said, the performance, the scoreline was certainly a lot closer, but it's just unfortunate that Celtic couldn't hold it for the last 10 minutes. What did you make of them on Thursday?
Well, I thought we would have done an episode on it, which we ended up with done today, and I fought with myself after the game. Part of me was kind of fuming. The other part of me was going, I stayed unlucky, but it's harsh because some people say, the manager shouldn't have made these subs, and then I think, but what other manager would have you 2-1 up in Germany against a top 4 side for the Bundesliga? So I give him a lot of credit because the second goal, as you say, it's absolutely tremendous. I didn't think Todd was as good as people have said. I don't know if I'm watching a different game. I thought he gave the ball away a lot. He nearly fucked that chance up. He was lucky. I think it was Frimpong slips and then Kyogo reacts excellently. I thought Forrest was great in the build up to that goal. And then the finish is, I think Danny says it's world class at it first time. The equaliser, it's a dead set penalty. I can see why he's made the subs because Kyogo presses like mad. But my issue is, if you look at the Aberdeen game, I think it must have been, obviously we don't see the clock after the 90, but it must have been the 93rd minute and Kyogo was still closing down their keeper. So part of me thinks he could have stayed on. I think Jota could have stayed on, and I completely understand taking Forrest off. But again, I think somebody else made the point to me, if Jota or Kyogo pulls up with 5 to go, whether we win that game or no, if they're injured for a long period of time, the manager gets stick. So I guess he could. Mikey Johnson doesn't look good enough. That's no doubt in that. Ajeti doesn't look good enough. Abada, as we say, is young guy. We're giving him a bit of the benefit of the doubt with it, and that's fine. But then you need to look at the board and go, that goes back to you not properly backing the manager back in January, kind of July and August. If we would got him another winger in, if we'd got him a better striker than Giamakis, obviously he's injured, but to be fair to Giamakis, he was very good in Ferencvaros when he came on to hold the play up. So I kind of thought with myself, overall, it's desperately unlucky. Players deserve a lot of credit, so does the manager, but with 7 minutes left and you're winning, you should be at least finishing with a draw, especially when a draw would have been good enough. So I think the team, I think they must be a bit disappointed themselves. They really should have seen it out, but I'm not going to go too harsh on them. It's clear progress. I mean, there's a good chance we could finish in 9 points and then we're still in the Conference League. The Conference League gives us an opportunity to play against teams with a similar level. Some might be a higher level, some might be slightly lower. So I think all you can do is just enjoy the ride. Who knows where it'll take us? It might take us to Albania for the final. But no, I mean, the Europa League this year, I mean, my aim was to try and qualify. I thought that would have been a struggle. It was against Alkmaar. We managed to see it through. We've now got Europe after Christmas, and I could actually see us winning a knockout tie as well. So Ange might be the first manager to do that, to win a post-Christmas knockout tie for Neil. So I'm quite relaxed about it. It wasn't a disaster or a catastrophe that fans of a club try to make it out to be, but that was always going to happen after the results in the League Cup. So no, a difficult game. I mean, I never expect. I thought, see, the thing is as well, see if we went out there and get done 3-0, nobody would have blinked. He'd have went, well, they're just a better team and will improve going forward. But because it was so close, it was a bit about the stones. But Germany, as you can see, I'm still kind of fighting myself on it, but it's done now, and then what we can do is go to the next game against Betis. I would expect a good bit of rotation, and just because some guys are on it for match fitness. We've got a really busy December, so presents an opportunity to rest players, in my opinion.
And just to wrap up on the Europa League section at this time, it's probably where most fans realistically expected Celtic to finish, with teams like Leverkusen and Betis in the group, but a slight disappointment that they've not taken it to the last game, given that the good spell, I wouldn't say good full 90s in both games, but the good spells they had in Seville and in Leverkusen last week. And as Tony said, it's going to be really disappointing to be ahead with 8 minutes to go or whatever it was in regulation time, and still been out of the competition by the 93rd minute.
I think there's been a lot of good points made, and there's been a lot made of the game and everything else. I mean, I think it was Tony that mentioned, look, you're 2-1 up away to one of the better teams in Germany, who turned us over. I agree with Daniel. At the home game, it wasn't a 4-0 game. 4 each or something I'd have given you, but the keeper had one of the best goalkeeping performances I've seen at Parkhead. So that is what it is. I thought we played really well for a lot of spells in that game, and everybody just said it was just down to the defence. It's down to the back line at that time. It was wasn't up to speed yet. There was a lot of improvements, and there was probably an element of truth for that. And then you go into that game, as I say, you get to Germany, you're 2-1 up. My goal maybe 10 minutes after the second half kicks off. You're playing well enough. There was sort of spells of the game where, as they would have, a team of that quality were dominant, but we weren't any mugs, and we gave them something to think about. But listen, the manager's got to make changes. This notion that changes are it's not something that happens all the time, and every manager in football does it. But I don't care who the football players on the park are. No team should be conceding 2 goals in 5 minutes, and that's what happened, and that's what lost us the game. You know what I mean? It's for the subs that came on. We could have all told you before the game, Kyogo was coming off for a bad eye, and James Forrest was. Kyogo was coming off for a Yeti, and James Forrest was coming off for Mikey Johnston. But the other one was a bad eye. Like, that was only the one maybe Jota could have stayed on, but does that really change the game that much, given that Beaton obviously went off injured, which is something you kind of legislate for? So maybe one sub that we wouldn't have predicted pre-match, does that really change too much? I'm not so sure. But listen, it is what it is. You can see 2 goals in 5 minutes. You even can see 2 chances in 5 minutes against a team like that, but no high quality chances you run the risk of losing. But there's improvements there. I think there is an element of that, and people we've got to sort of take the positives that we did improve. It can be seen, but we've went away to a really difficult side, led the game. There's confidence to be taken for that, but we came away with no injuries. The players, the managers probably learned a lot about the players. Players have probably learned a lot about themselves. Like there's never going to really be a sort of quick fix to where we were at. And I mean, we're still a team that we were struggling with. There was a couple of people injured. Rogic was still out. We've still not got a sort of settled left back. I mean, Juranovic's a Croatian international, but again, it's a guy that's playing out of position. Obviously, Welsh was sort of, you would think, once all our centre halves are back, he's your third choice centre half. Like, of the base players that we've actually got, there's a lot that will change in that team, and you would think is going to improve it. So I'm not really out to sort of crucify the manager or any of the players or anything like that. As I've seen done, I think it's really, really harsh. Could we have done better in the last 10 minutes of the game? Of course. I was as much as everybody else, and it's probably what hurt a lot of people, as we were all looking forward to thinking, oh, brilliant, that best game at home, going to be a cracker. European night under the lights, and we can potentially qualify. Of course, I think everybody can see that's what we were looking forward to. And that's probably for what I think's hurting a lot of people, but I think you've just got to look forward to. We're going to the Conference League. The big thing is the league. The players that we subbed off had a big impact on winning the game at the weekend against Aberdeen. And we go into the Conference League, as Tony says, we could potentially win a knockout game. Who knows where we could end up in that? It's a European competition. The manager and the players will be taking it seriously. I've got absolutely no doubt about that. And again, in money, sort of, if you think of the money side of things, and we're obviously looking to improve the squad in January, bring in new faces. I think it was you, Dan, that was looking at it at the start of the season. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of the financial side of things, there's not a huge gulf between the Europa League and what you make in the Conference League and what you make. Obviously, there's things that can change with draws and wins, and that dictates a lot of sort of the plus you get and how far you go, but there's still money to be made for us, which can only be a positive, obviously, getting into January and again getting into the summer window when that eventually rolls in, if we're still in a competition.
Aye, of course. I don't think there's any Celtic fans that would sniff their nose up at any sort of European competition. I think fans will look forward to it. As you say, it's a great opportunity to finally get rid of that hoodoo and no winning a knockout tie since 2004. So I'm sure once the draw's made, we'll speak about it in more depth, but it'll be interesting to see who we go. I think Tony's right. The teams you could get could either be pretty good, so roughly the same level, or you might even get, I've seen teams like Jablonec still in the reckoning, so I think we had it relatively comfortable when we played them in early autumn. So if you get somebody like them, then you're going to fancy your chances to finally get past that. But I will come on to that in next week's episode. But before we move on to a Hearts preview, I just want to announce our competition time. We are delighted here at 4Tims to have joined up with Football Prizes. It's footballprizes.co.uk. It is a website that gives you the chance to win fantastic sports memorabilia and a lot of other great stuff. And they have some great Celtic stuff that's going live on the website in the coming weeks. And the first item to go live is a fantastic Henrik Larsson signed and framed Celtic shirt. Nobody listening to this needs me to explain how big a legend Henrik is, and this top, we will put pictures of it on our social media, or you can go to footballprizes.co.uk and you'll be able to find it. It is a stunningly framed top, and it is the perfect Christmas present for yourself, or maybe for your dad, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your mum, whoever loved Larsson, and I mean, who didn't? But we are delighted to partner with them. They're going to be helping us keep the pod running, and thank them for it. And to enter this competition, all you need to do is go to footballprizes.co.uk, go to the Henrik Larsson prize, and it is basically it's a raffle. The tickets cost $4.95, but there's only 99 tickets getting sold, and at this moment in time there's already 26 of them away, so you'll need to be quick to get in this one. You choose a number, and then Football Prizes over on their Facebook do the live draw. The live draw for this one will be on Monday the 6th of December at 8:30, and if you get over there, buy your ticket, you'll be in the draw. But to celebrate our new partnership, we are giving away a free ticket for it, so we have got ticket number 49, which we're going to be giving away to one of our listeners, because we appreciate everybody who does listen. And all you need to do to be in with a shot at winning that ticket is to go and subscribe to our YouTube. Send us a wee screenshot once you've subscribed, wherever you listen, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or even just send us a wee email with a screenshot showing that you've subscribed. Also, if you want an additional entry, just leave us a wee review wherever you listen to your podcast, and we'll enter you in. We will announce the winner of our competition to win that ticket on Sunday night, just to give you as much chance as possible. And one of you will be in the draw for free and potentially winning a Henrik Larsson frame signed top for absolutely nothing, just for having to suffer and listening to us for the best part of half an hour to an hour every week. But I'm looking forward to seeing this draw, and hopefully somebody that's listening, I know I'm going to buy a few tickets to be perfect. I say I'd get it away as a Christmas present, but I think I would keep it for myself. Tony, you've seen it. It's a fantastic frame, Henrik Larsson top, and be a great prize for anybody to win.
Absolutely, you can't beat signed and framed memorabilia. There's a lot of good stuff out there. So best of luck for anybody that gets involved in the draws. I'll be buying a couple of tickets myself. It'll be a great Christmas present, or if you just punt it in eBay, whatever suits. So I'll be buying a few tickets, and best of luck. Hopefully it's somebody that listens to the podcast that wins a prize.
Definitely. And as I say, the draw will take place on this coming Monday, the 6th of December, so you will need to be quick. As I say, there's over a quarter of tickets that have already been snapped up, so you need to be quick. So that's footballprizes.co.uk, and we'll leave a wee link in the episode description as well, so you can get along and do that. If you want a discount on your tickets as well, just use the code 4TimsTims, so it's the letters FOURTIMS and then the number 10. That's 4Tims10. That'll get you 10% off your ticket as well. But I will move on to the Hearts game. Danny, I'll come to you. The games just keep coming thick and fast. It's the unusual for a league game anyway. Celtic are playing on Thursday night. I think it's just because it's on Sky and they're showing a game Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Celtic have been given the Thursday slot. It's a game against Hearts. I know we lost there on the first day of the season, and I was actually just looking it up. I thought Hearts' best player that day was Bobby Madden, and I thought, well, at least he won't be there. But I've just happened to check who's refereeing the game on Thursday, and it is in fact Bobby Madden. So what can we expect from it? I know that was Andrew's first league game, ended in disappointment. We beat them in the League Cup. I know it finished 3-2, but Celtic were by far and away miles ahead of Hearts that day, and conceded in the last kick of the ball to make it a scoreline that very much flattered Hearts. But how do you see Thursday going?
Yeah, another tough game, I think. I feel a wee bit worse now that you've told me Bobby Madden's got to be a ref. What to expect? Hearts to get a lot of free kicks, about 20-30 yards out field goal. First player to be booked is the Celtic one, and a tough game. I think we'll beat Hearts. I think Hearts, I know they won on Saturday, but I think they've been kind of running on empty the last couple of weeks. My mother will beat them. So at Parkhead full stadium Thursday night, a wee bit peculiar, but we'll need to just get on with it. And a team are used to playing Thursday night, so hopefully we can kick on and get a good win. I'd actually like to see us score a few goals and put a statement out. Regardless of what other results are. But I think Hearts came into it. I don't know. I think they're a bit ropey. I don't think they're great. I think they can be got at, and I think if we get a couple of the goals, you could see them crumble.
Hopefully, as you say, I've just checked their form. It's 2 wins and 7 for Hearts. As you said, lost to Motherwell, lost to Aberdeen, a couple of draws against teams like Dundee as well. So, as much as they are in pretty poor form, Andy, they actually have the chance to go ahead of Celtic. I know they've done it on Saturday for 24 hours. Celtic have played a game less, but Hearts will be going there for looking to get 3 points to go a point above Celtic. How do you see the game going?
I think it'll be another sort of dominant game in terms of possession and things like that. Hopefully the weather's not as fucking cold as it was on Sunday, but I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't mind a night game every so often at Parkhead. For some reason I like the winter games, just as long as it's not against the smallest teams in the league. Because I think generally for Hearts games and that's quite a good turnout. So I think it'll be a good game, and hopefully we turn out with a good performance. The last couple of domestic games between Aberdeen, we were obviously win by 1, and then St Johnstone in the cup we win by 1. I think we're maybe due to score a couple of goals against a team and put them at the sword, and hopefully, given that it's Hearts and don't know my thoughts on name, but hopefully it is Hearts because I can't stand them. Obviously, we dropped points early in the season. Manager will probably boot to rectify that and make sure it doesn't happen again. Players will know the significance. They'll know what it means. They'll know we not really get much room for error, if any, up until the Christmas period. So I think that'll be fresh in the minds. There was obviously a wee bit of rotation again. We've touched on Abada earlier on the episode. Listen, young boy, these things will happen. He'll dip in and out of form. I think he started so well it sort of gave people that feeling he was just going to be like that all the time, but that's very few football players in world football that happens to that age. So Forrest, I would suspect to come back in. And again, good player to have back, plenty of experience, and obviously it seems like the manager likes him as well. And I think Tony touched on earlier, maybe be too soon for Wee Dembele to come back in, but the squad's starting to fill out again. With more and more people coming back, and hopefully we come through it. As I say, positive result, positive performance. Keep the injuries away, and the players that are sort of fresher coming back can build up their match fitness. And I think it'll be a good game. And hopefully we get away with the win. And as I say, a couple of goals.
Tony, how do you see it going? Do you see many changes getting made? I know after the game on Sunday, and the thing I was most delighted to hear Ange say was that Tom Rogic will definitely be available. Would you expect him to maybe start on the bench, or would you like to see him from the start?
Rogic is fit. I would put him right in. I would start Forrest as well. And I predict a lot of banners with Bernard Higgins' face on it and a no entry sign. That's my prediction. I thought we better bring that up because there's been a lot happening since we were last on, and obviously the Higgins imminent appointment still not come through. But how the board haven't answered any questions about this yet is disgraceful. I would like to think that they will come out and say that he won't be appointed and apologise for the distractions they've now caused. But I think the protests are going to ramp up, and I think the board will allow this to just drag on because they're fucking daft. So I predict 2-0 Celtic and loads of banners protesting Big Bernie.
Aye, as you say, there will be a lot of banners making really visible Celtic fans discussed it. The imminent appointment of Bernard Higgins, and I'll just read out what the North Curve Celtic says. They have called on all CSCs and individuals to bring a banner and make yourself heard at the match this Thursday. And if you haven't already done so, contact northcurveceltic@gmail.com if you would like to participate, but you can't make your own banner, and they'll see what they can do. I know depending on where you're in the stadium, you'll see a 4Tims against Bernard Higgins. We continue to promote that message, and we will do until Bernard Higgins is officially nothing to do with Celtic and never will be, hopefully. And we continue to open the door to Celtic. If they want to come on and deny it or retract it or step down from it, then we will always give them a platform to come out and say that. But until then, we will viciously oppose this potential appointment. But Andy, Tony says 2-0 Celtic. What are you going to go for?
I'm going to go 3-0. As I say, I think we're due a domestic game where we score a couple and turn out a really good performance against that team. So I'm going to go 3-0 Celtic. I'll put Kyogo to get back in the score sheet as well.
Danny.
I think it'll be tight early, but I think it'll be 4-0. I think we'll pull away in the end. And I think Kyogo got a hat trick. I don't know who'll score the other, but Kyogo will get 3.
Well, Tony went for 2-0, Andy went for 3-0. Danny went for 4-0, so I'm going to have to go for a magnificent 5-0. I was going to go for 7 there just to fuck that, but I'm going to go for Hawaii 5-0. I think Celtic are bound to get a team of doing, and we've scraped a few wins, but hopefully Thursday night we do turn it on and rack up the goals. As a few have mentioned, I'd like to see Kyogo back on the score sheet. Always a delight to see that, but as long as we get the win, that's all that really matters to me. We will be back at some point, possibly after the Hearts game, possibly after the Dundee United game. Just while we're here, just to say that we will be taking part in the Celtic State of Mind charity weekender, so look out on our social media for links to that. We'll confirm our day and time once we've sorted a few things, but aye, that'll be good to take part in, so keep an eye out for that. And if you don't manage to catch that, we will speak to you when we speak to you. And just remember to go to footballprizes.co.uk and enter the competition for the Henrik Larsson framed signed shirt, and we will speak to you in